You have stood before it for longer than you admit, though time near that threshold doesn't move like time anywhere else. The air here is stale but heavy, as if it carries the weight of every name that was spoken inside and every name deliberately left outside. You feel the wood beneath your fingertips. It's warm, almost alive, as though it remembers all the hands that have touched it, those who were welcomed in, and those who pressed their palms here in vain. The door is not locked. It has never been locked, and yet when you try, it does not move for you. You tell yourself it's a matter of timing, of worth, of someday. But deep down, you know the truth. The door doesn't open because it was never meant to. From the other side, voices rise and fall in a rhythm you've learned by heart, a low hum of approval, laughter that curls in the air like smoke from a hidden fire. They speak in a dialect of belonging, sharp in places, soft in others, a language you were never taught, yet one you understand enough to know what they say when they think no one is listening. They toast each other in your absence. They build futures on tables you've never seen. They carve your absence into the architecture so deeply that even the walls seem to ignore you. Once, you waited quietly. You told yourself that patience was strategy, that one day the hinges would turn in your favor, that perhaps someone, anyone, on the inside would remember you were here. But patience has teeth, and over the years it has bitten deep into your resolve. The stillness you once thought of as discipline begins to sour into something heavier. It isn't longing anymore. It's recognition that the lock was never on the door, it was on you. You've watched others pass through without slowing, their shoulders brushing against the frame you've memorized in every detail. Some nod at you as they go in, a gesture that carries no real acknowledgement. Others pretend you are part of the wall itself. The worst are the ones who used to stand beside you, who swore they understood, who swore they'd never leave you here until they did. And yet, even now, something inside you refuses to step away. You stay because you can feel the gravity of that room pulling at your bones. You stay because you know that what happens beyond that door decides what the rest of the world will call truth. And because somewhere deep in the marrow, you sense a fracture in their perfection, a hairline crack that no one else has noticed. The light under the door is dim, but it shifts when the voices move, a thin blade of gold cutting through the shadow. You watch it stretch and fade, as though the room is breathing. You realize it's not the door that's breathing, it's you. Something ancient, coiled in your chest, tightens. Patience has been replaced by something colder, sharper. This is no longer about waiting for them to open it. It's about learning the exact moment when you no longer care whether they do. They never built it for you. Not the table, not the room, not the air you're breathing now. Every inch of it was crafted to remind you that you don't belong. The wood is older than your memory, carved from a forest you were never allowed to enter. Each curve, each polish is a language spoken between those who were born into its glow. They sit there in quiet dominance, their voices blending into a single current you are not meant to swim in. They pass words like coins, currency in a market that has no stall for you. And yet, your eyes trace the edges, your mind dissects the pattern, the symmetry, the precision, the beauty that hides the cave. You can feel it without touching it. This table is a fortress disguised as hospitality. They've designed it so no one notices the walls. The arrangement of seats is not random. Each placement is a rank. The end chairs belong to the quiet power, the ones who control the flow without raising their voices. The middle seats are for those meant to be seen, not heard. Every position has history, stories of blood and bargaining, of people who thought they were too clever to fall and still ended up devoured. You weren't there when these rules were written, yet you've been living under their shadow your entire life. They smile as they enforce them, wearing kindness like armor. But kindness here is only a blade with a cleaner handle. The table does not just feed the body, it feeds the hierarchy. The wine tastes sweeter when you know someone else is starving. The laughter feels richer when it drowns out the sound of fists pounding on a locked door. And while they clink their glasses, their eyes flicker toward you, a reminder, a warning that the structure holds because you are kept outside it. They've convinced themselves it's for your own good, that you wouldn't survive the weight of what's discussed here, that you wouldn't understand. But the truth is simpler. Power does not share itself unless it must. You study them in silence. Every ritual, every pause between sentences, every shift of the hand on a wine glass. They believe you are harmless. They believe you are content to watch through the glass. What they fail to see is how stillness can sharpen a blade. You are not learning to imitate them. You are mapping their weaknesses. The way the man at the end avoids eye contact when challenged. The subtle tremor in the hand of the one who speaks the loudest. The way their unity fractures in silence when the conversation turns toward decisions that cost them something real. This table was not built for you, but stone cracks, wood splintered. Rituals decay when the uninvited stop knocking and start walking in. You feel it under your skin, the faint vibration of an old order preparing to be broken. They think you are outside. They think you are powerless. Yet every second you stand there unblinking, the edges of their design begin to curl inward. They don't know it yet, but the table is already shifting in your direction. You stand in the quiet, and it is not a gentle quiet. It is the kind that hums against your skin, heavy with the weight of unspoken rules and eyes you cannot yet see. Somewhere in the distance, laughter folds over itself, but it never reaches you whole, only in fragments, sharp and jagged, as if the air itself wants to remind you where you are not welcome. This is the place between the thought and the action, the breath before the blade falls. You have been here before, though not like this. Then the silence had been a sentence. Now it is a weapon you are learning to hold. You watch them from the shadows, not as a beggar staring through a window, but as a surgeon studying an exposed heart. Their movements are precise, rehearsed, fragile beneath the polish. You notice the cracks in their timing, the way certain glances dart toward the door. The way power here is maintained less by strength and more by the fear of disruption. They cannot see you yet, and that is the advantage. Patience is not passivity. It is the art of allowing others to reveal their weaknesses while you remain untouched, unseen. You have learned that every empire, no matter how invincible it appears, carries its own rot. Sometimes it is a single compromised pillar, sometimes an unguarded corridor, sometimes a moment of arrogance that blinds the ruler to the knife in the dark. You feel the storm in your chest gathering momentum, each heartbeat another wave pressing against the dam. You do not rush it. Storms that break too early are wasted. Storms that wait reshape the coastline. The stillness around you deepens, as if the walls themselves are aware of your presence. There is an ancient symbolism in this, like the hunter in the clearing, invisible to the herd until it is already too late. You can almost hear the language of history whispering through the air. Every change begins in silence. Every dethroning starts in shadow. They will call it sudden when it happened. They will swear they never saw it coming. But you will know it began here, in the space where no one else dared to wait. You think about the years spent outside, the doors that would not open, the invitations that never came. Each denial was a stone added to the fortress you carry in your mind. And now that fortress is not for keeping others out. It is for storing the kind of patience they will never understand, the kind that turns the overlooked into the unstoppable. They have mistaken your absence for defeat. They will learn it was preparation. The air shifts somewhere beyond. A glass is set down a fraction too hard, the sound ringing like a signal. It is not time yet, but the edge of it is here. You feel the threshold under your feet, the way the world tilts just before a storm breaks. Once, this silence was their shield. Now it is the chamber of your arrival. And when you move, It will be with the inevitability of thunder. You do not knock. You do not wait for permission that was never coming. The air on the other side tastes different, thicker, warmer, charged with the breath of those who have always assumed they are safe here. Their voices falter the moment you cross the line. The sound fractures, leaving a silence heavy enough to feel in your bones. Every head turns. Some eyes widen in the soft, trembling surprise of prey. Others narrow into the sharp slits of predators who now sense another predator in the room. You do not rush. Each step is deliberate, the weight of your footfall echoing louder than any words you could speak. The floor does not resist you. It yields, as though it has been waiting. Candles flicker in the corners, shadows stretching toward you like witnesses eager for a better story. You are not dressed for their approval. You are dressed for war disguised as presence. Every breath you take unravels the invisible order they have built around themselves, thread by thread. They speak, but not to you, at least not directly. Questions in the air like hooks baited with civility, waiting to catch your tongue and drag you into their script. You let them hang unanswered. Their etiquette was forged to keep you contained, and you have no intention of being contained. This room has been trained to reject anomalies, but now that you are here, you see the truth. They are smaller up close, fragile in ways they've hidden behind polished surfaces and ritual smiles. You feel their discomfort ripple, a silent current beneath the long table's gleam. It is not fear yet, but it is the scent of fear, faint, metallic, inevitable. You walk past eyes that try to pin you in place and find the chair they have guarded with absence. Empty, but not vacant. The air around it is different, denser, as if the chair itself remembers the ones who tried to claim it before and failed. You rest your hand on its back. The wood is warm, as though it has been waiting for skin like yours. No one tells you to stop. Not because they accept you, but because they are still calculating. They are hoping you will hesitate, hoping the weight of their gaze will press you back into the shadows where you began. But you do not look away. You allow the moment to stretch, the silence to tighten until it hums. You have walked through thresholds others only dream about, not because you were invited, but because you understood that doors are only powerful to those who believe in them. And in that breathless stillness, you know something they do not. You have already taken the room before you even sit. The table, the walls, the very air. These are no longer theirs entirely. They belong to the one who crossed without permission, who shattered the unspoken pact between the chosen and the excluded, you. The chair is colder than you expected. Its frame hums with the weight of those who sat here before, the weight of centuries of names carved into air and memory, none of them yours. It resists you at first, a quiet defiance in its bones, as though it knows the lineage it was built to serve, and yet it holds you. That's the first fracture in their design. They wanted you to approach with permission in your hands, but you arrived with nothing but your own pulse. No smile to soften the trespass, no apology to disarm the sting, only the audacity to take what was never meant for you. The air around the table ripples. Whispers crawl along the edges like shadows testing the light. Some of them laugh under their breath, as if this is a performance they've seen before and already know the ending. Others watch you in silence, their eyes calculating, weighing the exact second you will be removed. But they are wrong about the ending. They always are, because you don't move like a guest who's wandered in by accident. You move like the room was built around you, and only now has remembered it. Every thread in the chair's fabric carries the memory of hands that held power too tightly, of decisions made with blood still wet on the ground, of alliances forged and broken under the dim weight of chandeliers. And now, that same fabric's beneath your spine. It's not comfort you feel, but an ancient acknowledgement, the kind the earth gives to a tree that has clawed its way through stone to reach the sky. You sense the truth they won't speak. Power doesn't belong to those who inherit it. It belongs to those who can sit in its place without flinching. Your stillness is not submission. It is a blade in the dark. Every second you remain, you unmake a rule they thought could not be broken. They measure authority by bloodline. You measure it by endurance. They believe a throne becomes real only when the right hands touch it. You know a throne becomes real when the wrong hands refuse to let go. There's a difference between taking a seat and owning it, and the difference is written in the way they shift uncomfortably, unsure if they are witnessing a breach or a coronation. Some faces turn away, as if refusing to see you will erase your presence. Others lean forward, not in welcome, but in recognition. The sharp ones understand what's happening. You're not here to be accepted. You're here to rewrite the room. Every smile they force is another sign that the ground beneath them is moving. The table has not changed shape. The rituals still play out, but there's a new gravity in the air, and they can feel it pulling toward you. They will tell themselves later that it was only a moment, that the seat will return to its rightful owner once you are gone. But the chair knows better, and so do you. Something irreversible has happened. What was once untouchable now carries your weight, your scent, your silence. It remembers you. And when power remembers, it never truly belongs to anyone else again. They are watching you now, not the kind of watching you felt from the shadows outside the door, but the heavy, suffocating weight of being under 1,000 unblinking eyes. You can feel them measuring you, each gaze pressing against your skin, probing for cracks, searching for the smallest hint that you don't belong. Some look at you with disdain, as if you've spilled wine across their perfect table. Others look with the faint curl of curiosity, as if they've stumbled upon an unfamiliar predator, dangerous, but worth studying. You sense the air around you bending, adjusting to your presence, reshaping itself into something neither they nor you fully recognize. There is a before and there is a now. Before, you were the ghost outside the gates, surviving on whispers and discarded truths. Now you are seated within the walls, a disruption in their perfect geometry. The shift is not loud, but it is seismic. Every blink, every glance exchanged between them is a language they think you cannot read. But you know the grammar of exclusion better than anyone. You were raised in its silence, and because of that, you know exactly how to break it. They lean back, feigning ease, but you can see the slight tension in their shoulders. You've tilted the axis of their ritual simply by existing in it. They have been taught that power is inherited, that it sits comfortably in bloodlines and old money, in titles carved into stone. But your presence here is proof of something they fear. That power can be taken, and when it is taken, it no longer feels safe. The weight of their gaze is a weapon, sharpened over generations, designed to make outsiders shrink until they vanish. You don't shrink, you let their stares sink into you. Let them test the armor you've been forging for years in the cold, unseen places they've never walked. They think this is the first battle. You know it's only the latest. They think they're testing you. You know you're testing them. A memory slips through your mind, not from your own life, but something older, something whispered through the marrow of your bone. A council lit by torchlight, faces half hidden in shadow, the smell of smoke and steel in the air. A single intruder walks in, and the room fractures. You feel as if you have lived this before, in another body, in another century, when thrones were claimed in the dead of night and kept with nothing but presence and will. The room hums now, an unspoken tension coiling through it. Some of them will never accept you. Others will try to draw you in, not out of kindness, but to map the edges of your strength. You let them. You meet every gaze without flinching, letting them see that you are not waiting for permission. You are here because you chose to be. And in this moment, you realize something they have not yet understood. Their gaze was meant to contain you, but it is only feeding you. The longer they look, the more you root yourself into the seat they never intended for you to hold. They begin their performance the moment you sit, the same motions they've rehearsed for years. The careful raising of glasses, the polite nods, the delicate pauses designed to keep order. You recognize the choreography instantly, and you know its purpose. It's not celebration, it's control. A dance where every step reminds the outsider that they will never lead. For a while, you let them move as they always have. You watch their hands, their eyes, the subtle signaling of who speaks and who stays silent. You learn the currents, not to follow them, but to pull against them. When your turn comes, you don't speak in the measured tone they expect. You tilt the balance with words that are too sharp, too heavy, to float politely over the table. They glance at each other in the corner of their vision, uncertain if you are reckless or deliberate. You know the answer, even if they don't. You lift your glass at the wrong time, interrupt their toast without apology, and their synchronized order stumble. Their smiles tighten, their rituals fracture. They try to recover, to sweep you back into the script. They offer questions shaped like traps, phrased to push you toward the approved answers. You sidestep them without effort, answering what they didn't ask, pointing where they told you not to look. In their world, power depends on repetition. The same topics, the same lies, spoken until even the truth forgets itself. You break that rhythm like a stone through glass. The echo is sharp. Some flinch. You feel it in the air now. The shift. Their fortress was never built to withstand someone who doesn't care for its rules. The ones who despise you look away, hoping silence will erase you. But others lean forward, compelled despite themselves. They are drawn to the way you dismantle the ceremony with nothing but presence, the way you sit in their sacred space and refuse to bend. You see it in their eyes, a hunger they don't yet understand. Every table in history has feared this moment. Council, courts, kingdom. The instant when the intruder refuses the mask and forces the gathering to face what they've been hiding from. You can feel the ancient weight of it pressing against the room. The table they thought was theirs alone now turns toward you as if sensing its true center. Their voices falter. Their laughter sounds rehearsed, brittle under the pressure of your stillness. The ritual is broken, not by violence, not by shouting, but by the quiet certainty that you do not need their approval to remain. You have rewritten the rhythm, and now they move around you without realizing it. Power has shifted not in a blaze of chaos, but in the subtle reordering of gravity. And when you meet their gaze, one by one, you see it plainly. They understand the truth they never wanted spoken. You were never here to join them. You were here to change the table itself. You rise from the seat as if it had always belonged to you, though hours ago it was the furthest place from your reach. Their eyes follow, some in quiet surrender, others in the silent calculation of what you have become. The air is different now. The heaviness that once pressed against your skin is gone, replaced with something sharper, more dangerous. Your presence has altered the room's gravity. They feel it too. You are no longer an outsider clawing for entry. You are the axis around which their fragile order turn. The table, once carved as a weapon to keep you at bay, now bears the weight of your touch. Before tonight, you were a shadow at the edge of their firelight, learning their rituals in silence, feeding on scraps of overheard power. They mistook your patience for absence, your observation for weakness. But you understood what they did not. Walls are not as strong as the cracks that run through them, and cracks are made for people like you. Now, those walls stand behind you. You've crossed the threshold, and in doing so, you've redefined it, what they call intrusion. History will call inevitability. You feel the shift in their breath, the subtle lean of their bodies toward you, the way curiosity gnaws at the edges of their contempt. Some will never forgive you for stepping into their circle. That is fine. Forgiveness was never your currency. You deal in something older, something forged in the long nights outside their gates, resilience sharpened into a blade they cannot see until it is too late. You speak little, but the silence that follows your words carries the weight of 1,000 denied invitations. The seat no longer feels foreign. It bends to you, reshaping itself to the truth of your existence. This is the paradox they cannot admit. In taking the place they swore was not yours, you have proven you were the only one who could fill it. Their order is not broken by your arrival. It is revealed for what it has always been, a fragile performance that collapses the moment an unscripted line is spoken. You think of ancient councils where a single voice ended empires, where one uninvited figure reshaped the map, not with armies, but with presence. You are not here to mimic them. You are here to outlast them. This room, this table, this so-called kingdom, they believed it was theirs by birthright. But birthrights fade. Legitimacy belongs to the one who can hold the room when every eye turns sharp. When you finally step away, you do not leave empty-handed. The seat, the table, the kingdom itself, none of it was ever the prize. The prize is the imprint you've left behind, the way the air will never feel the same without you in it. They will tell themselves you were a disruption, a mistake, an anomaly. But when they gather here again, they will glance toward where you sat, unable to silence the truth that gnaws at them. The night you took the seat, the kingdom changed hands, and it will never truly be theirs again.